I'm Madelyn, and I'm standing by a very exciting donation that I wanted to make sure we highlighted before we put it away and get ready for Barbara Wilson's large exhibit in memory of her. This bed is a really interesting backstory, I think, at least to me. About maybe 6 years ago, I was re-listening to an audio recording of an interview that was done between Meadow Brook Hall staff and Emilia Roche, who was Matilda's younger sister. And this was around 1981, and she mentions a bed that we have in our collection that was her wedding present for her parents when they married in 1881. And so I was finally kind of listening to this and thinking, what is that bed? I'd never heard anything about it. I started looking through all of our closets and looking around the house and trying to figure out where this Eastlake-style bed could have been. And I wasn't even sure if we still had it, because in this interview, she asks about it, and Meadow Brook staff are just kind of like, oh, and they changed the subject. So I wasn't even sure if we still had it, and I couldn't find it. So I didn't really know what happened to it, if we even ever had it in the collection, until about 3 years later. So now we're 3 years ago. I am looking through an old docent packet, and this is from like the 1970s, and it says there's this Eastlake-style bed that Matilda was born in. So yes, this is the bed that Matilda was born in, and in 1883, 2 years after her parents married. And so I kind of have another piece to the puzzle that now I know a little bit more about this bed, that it wasn't just a wedding present, but it was also a place of some history for us, because before the days of women going to hospitals and giving birth, which really has only been in the last few decades that that's been a normal thing in the US, women gave birth at home in their own beds. So now we're going to kind of fast forward again. About a year ago, we get an email from someone who was actually at Antiques Roadshow and knew that we were trying to collect different pieces of the family's history that maybe had left Meadow Brook at some time. And so he emailed me this bed, and it had a shipping label on it that said from Matilda, and it was from her aunt that was in Canada. And so he sends this bed. I haven't mentioned, so another thing that was in the docent packet said that the Eastlake-style bed had been cut down. It used to be taller, and so they made it shorter. I'm not sure why, if it didn't fit through a doorway at some point or what happened, but it had that kind of extra clue. So when I get this email about a bed and dresser that are Eastlake in style and have Matilda's name and also her aunt's name in Walkerton, Ontario, Canada, I said, I called him back, or I called him immediately and said, has the bed been cut down? And I also said, you might find this is weird, but I think you've been sleeping in the bed where Matilda was born. And he luckily loves history, so he thought that was really fascinating. And he was going to be moving, and so he wanted to donate this to us. And luckily, some of his friends on Facebook actually knew that he was trying to get rid of this bed, and so they suggested that he contact us. And so he did, and we were able to get the bed and the dresser as well, and we have them on display here. So it's a strange part of history, but I think especially for me, because there were so many little breadcrumbs that I had to kind of follow until we got this bed back, it was really fascinating. And this is for sure a bed that I never expected that we would get back. And luckily, because of that shipping label, really, and because of someone in the area who loves history, we were able to do so. And so yeah, this is the strange but true story of Matilda's parents' bed coming back to us.